Hello Paul, I'm Michel and I'm happy to have you with us today for this discussion about Digital Products Passport in the Worldline Innovation Experience Center. So you're with us because you are the expert we need to understand everything about it as the track and trace product manager. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you Michel for having me in this beautiful center in Paris. I'm happy to come from Brussels where I'm close to the European institutions and involved pretty heavily in this digital product passport topic. So let's explore together this part and I hope that we will have a lot of answers to the people that are listening to us today.
Okay, well, let's start with a very basic question. As a consumer that we are all, we've been hearing things about a passport coming, a product passport and digital. The acronym is DPP. We love acronyms. So can you tell us a bit more about what is this passport? A passport for a product, for objects?
Yeah, a simple answer will be to say it's a digital identity for a physical product. So we need to bring a transparency and circularity information into a product. And you need to bring from your physical product that you have in your hands something digital that will give you information over the lifetime of the product. This to promote circularity and to have less impact on the environment. Maybe we can come back on this later.
Okay, so I understand more what is this product passport, but now, why now? Why in 25 and where does it come from?
It comes from 2019, where the EU had the Green Deal and decided to have clear objectives for us to be carbon neutral by 2050. So in fact, this is pretty close and we need to act now. So from this Green Deal, they put in place a set of rules and regulation and directives to be sure that we can be compliant to these objectives that we fixed to ourselves. The digital product passport is a set of this. And it's a concept that was brought into a specific regulation. It's called ESPR, for Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Directive, and explaining what is a digital product passport and where we have the different requirements that we need to comply with the digital product passport.
Okay. So the focus is EU because it's an EU regulation. But in terms of geography, is it product manufactured in EU, sold in EU? Or is it also product manufactured elsewhere and sold in EU, imported? Or even product manufactured in EU, exported? What is the actual impact on these products?
We want to have a control on what's happening in Europe, and that's why if we want to control our carbon impact and impact on the environment, we need to control what's happening in Europe. But we bring a lot of products that are coming outside of Europe. So every manufacturers that are in Europe will need to be compliant, but also manufacturers that want to bring this product into Europe. So in the end, it implies a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders all over the world, and with all our partners and suppliers that are coming from China or from APAC or all over the world.
Okay. And in terms of timeline, so we understand it started in 2019 with this Green Deal, but is it happening now? Is it already enforced or is it in the future, near, middle term?
The regulation that are defining what is a DPP is already entered in force in 2024. It's presenting the frame of a passport. But there is also a clear timeline about which product will be impacted and by when. And this, the EU has defined a working plan from 25 to 30, where it explains exactly which product will come when. And in fact, the first product to come in the roadmap is the batteries by 27, and also the textile. And then there is also subsidiaries and other categories, but the main one will be those ones, 27 textile batteries.
Okay, so the first one will be the battery, like for my electric car, and what I'm wearing here, my jacket and
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Okay, what is the main issue, the main problem we want to solve? Is it about reusing the products? Why do we do this?
If we want to have an impact on the environment and to reduce the waste, reduce the carbon footprint, we need to act into the circularity of the product. So if we have transparent data available anytime on the product, we know exactly how to recycle the product, reuse it, to remanufacture the product, and so on. So there is a lot of circular scenarios that we can promote thanks to such a tool. So this is the real purpose of having a digital product passport.
Okay, So now I assume that when we talk about this kind of manufacturer products, there will be a lot of stakeholders involved. First the manufacturers, but probably others around them. And of course, down to the consumer and maybe some others between them. So can you tell us a bit more about this ecosystem, which seems very complex?
Yeah, it's a large ecosystem because, as you can imagine, if you want to have a lot of data regarding your product, you need to involve suppliers, you need to involve the customs, you need to involve citizens, you need to involve manufacturers. We need to connect all those people together to make sure that the data that you are showing on your product is consistent data. We can deep dive into this maybe another day, but there is a lot of, in fact, complexity behind such a concept of a passport, where you need to make sure that everybody can have the right access, also for the privacy of data, also for competition, and so on. So you will have to manage also this data access and how to use the passport.
Okay, so it's a complex ecosystem, many stakeholders. But yeah, indeed, today, I think for the sake of clarifying what is the impact and who is impacted, let's focus on the consumer and the manufacturer. I know that because you are a product manager in this business line, you certainly have solutions to show us for both of these sides.
Yeah, exactly. What I propose to you is that we take a concrete example and that we can scan the QR code that we have in front of us, and you will see already what is the experience for the end user, so a citizen like you and me. So what I will do is I will scan this, and you will see exactly what is the platform that you can access to. So this platform is a public platform where you can see all the data on your product. And so what we do, if we bring transparency, we also need to bring pictures of your product with your own brand for you as a brand or manufacturer. And you can structure the data in specific categories to make it very clear. So what we do, we organize this with general information. You will see who is the manufacturer. You will see what type of batteries you have. You will see some key information like this. But what we can do as well is to navigate through the different type of categories. One of them is performances, which is quite important because you need to see what are the dynamic data of your battery. You can see temperature, voltage, capacity, lifetime of your battery. But you can also continue navigating and go to compliance, where you can see information more in details related to the carbon footprint, also what is the supply chain, and so on. You can also move to the composition, where you will get many information about the different components of your product, and also go to the circularity, where you have also the percentage of renewable content, and so on. So that is the customer experience for a citizen like you and me.
Okay, so that's a consumer, and of course, to feed this passport, it will start with the manufacturer at some point. It's a lot of information, and I assume this information will be fed differently depending on it's a battery or a jacket. Can you show us what will it look like for the manufacturer?
Yeah, it's quite important, as you mentioned, there is a lot of data. So how to make sure that we are gathering those data and exposing those data in an easy way for the manufacturer. So what I propose is that we go also to the platform that we foresee, so that it make it very concrete for you. So now we move to this page. As you can see, you are into a specific environment. We can go back to the dashboard where you will see your company name, your who you are, and that you can create a passport. So let's make it very practical and let's create a passport from scratch. So here we'll just go on create passport. You can put the name you want on your passport, and you move on to the next step. And on the next step, you will once again explain what is your DPP for, and small descriptions that will appear on your passport, and also bring a picture if you want. So let's bring the picture of the product we want. And you can also play with colors, also putting your brand, and so on. When you go to next, there you see all the data you need to collect, and you can see that you have a lot of different categories. It's huge. To make it simple, we want to simplify this data collection and to automate through AI this data collection. So we go to this button that we have made, where you can collect through your data set. So you have your data, you upload your data, and it will fill in your all the information you need on your passport. you have everything that you need over there, and you can just go to publish. So when you publish your passport, in fact, what's happening is that you get a digital identity, and you get also a web link because it's a public access. And then you can go back to what I showed just before for the end user, and you can visualize your DPP on the same way, and you will see again the different categories and so on. So the idea is that you can really, in few clicks, in a few minutes, really generate the passport you need on your product.
It's a very good thing because you have a solution for that. Because you are in this business line, can you tell us where does it come from a company standpoint, from Worldline? Why are you focusing on this, and how is it related to your company, to all the products that the company is managing?
If we come back on time, Worldline is already involved in traceability topics for 10 years. And this is something that we master. We know how to make serializations, we know how to make digital IDs, and so on. What is also important for us is to make this connection toward those new topics that are trendy today, which are circularity, because one of the motto of our company is take for good. So we want to also have an impact in our society and make sure that we can be in this journey. So we turn ourselves into this program, and so we put in place, we have a dedicated program for the digital product passport, and we are launching a specific pilot to make sure that we are connecting and making this connection with the manufacturers.
So it can be interesting for enterprises who may have a lot of resources but are focusing on something else, because being compliant, and we know that it's in our DNA, is very time consuming, especially if you want to follow something which is evolving all the time, which will be the case here. And SMBs, even more important, because they have no resources or budget even to invest in that, so they need a partner of choice for that. So again, it's impressive. It's good that we have something starting, and we can help all these stakeholders. Now, how do they, how can they join a user group, a club, to make sure that they can share their needs, that we can understand them, and make sure that we are fitting the bill for them? How will it happen?
What you mentioned is pretty important. The SMBs will have in Europe more than 1 million SMBs that will need to comply with the digital product passport for batteries or for textile, and even more outside of Europe. So it's a full ecosystem which needs a simple solution. That's why we speak about easy DPP. We want to simplify this circularity journey of all those companies that will need to comply. And so we are launching this, and we have a one-stop shop solution. And this pilot that we are launching, it's really here to make this connection, try it out, receive the feedback from the manufacturers, making sure that we are putting the right ecosystem in place with the right partnership, and that we can learn together how to make that happen, because we want them to be ready on time. 27 is ready tomorrow, and we need all of you, all the companies, all the manufacturers to be ready.
So we are reaching the conclusion. Now we are richer in terms of information and understanding about the DPP and how we can help solve this topic for the SMBs especially. But is there anything at risk here? What if a business is not complying?
The what if is pretty simple, actually. If you don't comply with the DPP, you won't be able to put a product on the European market. So that's pretty simple. It's important to make sure that you are ready on time and that you will have a passport with your product according to the roadmap of the EU to continue putting your product on the market. And if you want to continue your business, you will have no choice than to get a passport. So that's why I invite today everybody to connect with us in order that we can learn from each other and that we can make sure that we have the right solution to fit the needs, because we need this mutual learning phase.
How can they join?
We have a program, pretty simple. As I mentioned, easydpp.eu, easydpp.eu. You connect, you have the program there, and all the information you need to contact us and join us in this journey.
So now I think everybody understands that the clock's ticking and that we can help. So thank you for all this rich information about this. And you know what, Paul? I'm sure that in a few months, summer next year, we could have another discussion to dig in even more technical topics on this discussion.
Definitely. I think we just scratched the surface right now. There is a lot of more discussions about privacy, GDPR, about the interoperability, about infrastructure. So I think we'll have room for a second step on these discussions. Thank you again for inviting me and letting me the opportunity to share this topic with everybody.
Thank you so much. We were happy to have you here.